The Nightside Project. Finish the day happy with Ethan Millard and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
This is The Nightside Project, and Ethan Millard here with Alex Keary, helping you finish your commute and finish your day happy. We've got a lot of great things. We're going to help you finish your commute happy with an awesome Zen headline. We're going to tell you about the woman who loves feeding the birds so much that she actually took a couple of extra steps to make sure that the birds were comfortable with her out there on her lunch break feeding her. We'll show you a little video, tell you all about what happened there. Unky Ben teed that up for us on Twitter.
Oh,
so
very
you,
nice
Unky
of
Ben.
him, yeah.
But first, Alex.
They want to make sure and include all the pigeons.
But
so
first,
they're like, hey, if your pigeon has an emotional support dog that it wants to bring
an emotional support
into the park,
breadcrumb,
then we'll be able to accommodate. And the law says we're not going to kick those pigeons out of the park because they're people too.
Well,
wait, what?
Speaking of birds and animals, we've got breaking news out of Oregon.
There's no two ways about it. If we didn't eat them first, they would kill us. Join us this evening for Nightside's Animal Kingdom.
The state of Oregon has passed a new law that allows you to keep your elk and deer roadkill.
Yes!
If you hit it, you can keep it. They're drafting the rules now, but the expectation will be that you have to report the kill within 24 hours, and antlers have to be turned over to the state.
Okay.
You can't keep the antlers because
this is so much work that I don't want to do.
The big concern with keeping roadkill is they didn't want people using it as a weird poaching thing, right? And so that's kind of been the concern.
Poached deer meat, it's very tasty. You just poach it for a little while.
Well, hit it out of season, and then.
No, I know. My thing is, you know my story when I hit an elk. If you've ever hit an animal, it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I hit an elk, and my car was totaled, but I was able to drive it, and I got to like a station. I mean, this is a pretty harrowing moment because I felt like my life sort of flashed before my eyes. The UHP officer's like, "Oh man, you're lucky it went over the vehicle." A lot of times they'll come through the windshield and
land in your lap,
and they'll kick you to death. That's how they get you. That's how they get you. I've seen it 100 times. Like that kind of thing. And you go, "Why are you telling me this?" But it came in. So imagine my hands at 10 and 2.
Right.
The animal in slow motion rolling up onto the hood, onto the windshield, crushing the windshield, smashing my hands with glass and its body weight against the steering wheel, and then going over the car, all in a split, in a couple milliseconds.
Did you pull your hands off the wheel, or did you leave them there?
Well, it wasn't pinned like that. It was like a hit.
Oh, okay, got it.
But it cut my knuckles up. Both of my knuckles are like massively bloody, and we get to like Beaver, Utah. We're in the middle of the state. This is like 2 a.m, and I'm like, "Hey, is there a washroom I could use?" I look like Dexter. I was just like, "You got a washroom I could use over here?" And the guy's like, and the guy was all, and like looked at his manager like, "Should we let this guy wash his hands?" Mike, you take this one. And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So I was like, we hit an elk and it, hit the car. And he's like, and everybody's question from Beaver all the way up to Provo. When I finally made it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" "Yeah." "Did you keep that meat?"
What'd you do with the meat?
"Yeah." "So is she in the trunk?"
Well,
like I'm all. This sounds very morbid.
Oh, yeah,
but everybody was like, "Did you keep the meat?" And I was like, "No, thanks, I'm fine. Thanks for asking."
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
"Hey, did you keep that meat?"
There was some discussion
because if you hit it right on the neck, that might be nice and tender right there.
Well, there was some discussion
some of that
to
purple meat,
whether or not the meat would even be any good, and whether Oregon should do this. But they overwhelmingly passed this law.
Utah, we love it. We're like this. Yeah, you are allowed to keep the meat, but it's like you have to like. There's some paperwork involved.
Well,
I don't want to do it.
There will be in Oregon as well. There was a. This is the case though in Colorado. You're allowed to keep roadkill in Colorado as well. In fact, that's what happened to Todd Toven, who is well known in the
roadkill community.
No, he's well known in the preparing wild game.
Okay.
World.
So when you say preparing wild game, you mean he's a roadkill cafe owner?
No.
Oh,
like
okay.
hunting and things like that.
Okay.
But he did make this video. Check it out.
I'm watching.
Hey everybody, I was on the way back from church today with my oldest daughter Hannah, and we were down near Franktown, Colorado, about 5 miles from our house.
Now, he's standing at the back end of his Suburban, and off the Suburban is a little hitch rack.
You can tell it's like a special made hitch rack that is like just for this purpose.
And on the back of it is this small white-tailed doe.
Now, it is
When we stumble upon a Douglas County Sheriff's deputy that is just dispatching a fresh whitetail.
What do you mean dispatching?
He just killed it.
So I did a
with a
U-turn,
service
I
weapon?
pulled up next to the sheriff's deputy, and I said, "Is that kill fresh?" He said, "It's super fresh. I just shot it behind the shoulder." He threw it on the Kurt cargo carrier. We had it ready to go. 5 miles from my house. The easiest meat acquisition of my life. Welcome to Roadkill 101. Since we live in a
So
and then,
I want to. I'm
and
gonna
then he
keep going
proceeds,
here.
and then he proceeds to, I'm assuming, clean it on the video.
I'm gonna keep going
His
here.
terrified kids.
Well, no, the kids
I mean,
are into this.
He's in the snow too. By the way, I want you to know he's not. It's not like outside. It's 104 degrees. And he's all
He's doing this in the snow.
steamy. They're in the snow. It's cold, obviously.
Now, there are a couple things I want to tell you. Number one, he harvested like 30 plus pounds of usable meat off of this.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And which he grinds. He's gonna grind it up.
Tell me more. Give me more details.
But the best part of this video, because it's very interesting to watch this process. He's obviously good at what he does, but the best part of this video are his children. They're totally into it. And you just got to watch them because they're just kind of hanging out.
yeah, they hang back at every shot, and they're like, "What's going on? What's he gonna do with that knife?"
But pay careful attention here.
a covenant-controlled subdivision here in Castle Rock. I don't want to exactly gut this thing on my front yard.
Right, okay.
I pulled it behind the gate. We just put a new water tank in yesterday. I have some old cardboard boxes sitting here from that, so I'm going to use those and some plastic bags. Time to put the outdoor edge.
And in this way, sportsmen are like police officers. They give you way too much weird little detail.
Well, he's obviously like,
Who cares
this
where
is
he got the cardboard?
But this is like sponsored too. Like he's
Well,
like, I got the outdoor edge cutting system that allows
Obviously,
you to
yeah.
slice and dice your game on your lawn at your leisure.
Obviously, he's sponsored, so you got to get the sponsor stuff in there. But I just, sometimes when he talks about like where he got the cardboard,
cares?
Sportsmen and hunters, they're like police officers in the way they start to talk about things. Just weird little details, weird language.
Edge Butcher Light Pack to work. Let's start out with the gut hook skinner. Nice and small compared to an
That's a
elk.
commercial, right? I mean, like
At that moment where he said, "Now let's get started with the gut hook skinner,"
gut hook skinner.
that's where I briefly considered just calling it a day
Being
on this
done with
video.
it, yeah.
But I didn't. I stayed.
Okay.
And it's actually not. It's actually not super gory.
Yeah, it's not gory at all. That kid is loving this. This kid is a model.
I'm using the
that
boning
great?
fillet
He's
knife
holding.
to peel
hold
out
on.
the back
Pause.
straps.
The back straps. Come on, this is not a
And-
backpack. It's a piece of venison. Oh, there's that tenderloin.
Yeah.
There's that venison tenderloin right there.
Yeah. The
kid
was posing. It was
you
great.
can obviously
He's
tell
totally
he's
into
all,
it.
son, I want you to hold the
leg up.
hold the neck skin for me for a minute. But I want you to really smile while you're doing it. The kid, it looks like he's posing for his school picture.
Yeah,
he's
it's
like,
great.
Yay!
The kids are amazing in this, and they're having the time of their lives. The dad's a hero to these guys.
And another venison back strap. The mess was minimal. I laid the cardboard from the hot water tank box down with some plastic
This is
bag
the cop talk,
and
right?
an old drop cloth that I was going to throw away. That absorbed most of the blood. I just skinned out the quarters.
Sure.
I pulled out both back straps, reached in and pulled out the tenderloins.
Sure.
Here's the bullet that I pulled out from the officer's handgun. And a cooler filled with meat that I'm ready to go inside and clean up. A lot of people that don't hunt.
He takes
hear
it
the word
inside,
roadkill.
and he explains that he's got young kids, so he's going to grind this up. He does a lot of ground.
What would be
meat,
great is if
things
his
like
wife
that.
walked in right then and
He got
goes,
hit by a vehicle.
Hold on.
He's laying down. He's paralyzed or something's wrong with him. An officer finished him off, and we're talking perfectly clean, cold meat.
I buy that.
And it's
I buy that.
insane. A lot of people would just drive by that. If you were fearful that maybe the animal was injured too much and maybe had a lot of adrenaline released from its system, and maybe that would, maybe make the meat tougher or maybe more gamey tasting than what you would like, you could still grind it up and make sausage. It's going to be incredible, and nobody would know. It's going to taste better than any sausage you're going to get at a local.
So what he's saying here, he's pointing out, he's saying he's got cold, fresh, grass-fed, organic venison that is going to taste better than anything you'd ever get at the store. And honestly, I guess I believe that.
But the marketing, the people go, oh, you're locally sourced, organic, grass-fed venison, AKA hit by the sheriff's 44 caliber service.
But I believe what he's saying.
That's fine.
I believe what he's saying.
I know he's definitely more. No, I know he's more knowledgeable on this than I am. Absolutely.
Local grocery store. My meat was perfect today on this animal. A teeny bit of bloodshot meat on one of the shoulders where the bullet just grazed the shoulder. Other than that, the back straps, the loins were perfect. I'm still going to grind it up, though, because we're a ground meat family, of course. Our 5th kid on the way, coming any day now. So we're going to go ahead and clean this meat out, and then we'll find out what kind of sausage we're going to make out of this thing. Praise the Lord, and pass the venison.
That guy, way too into it. Way too into it.
Oh, man.
But I believe everything he said. Like,
So,
I'm not disappointed in it. I'm not.
You gotta, I guess the Oregon law makes
it.
sense because look at what happened. And obviously you're going to need some kind of, your comfort level's got to be high, right? And you're going to need some kind of education, some kind of experience level that would help you do this safely, right? Because you can't just grab any old animal off the side of the road. But this man, he's knowledgeable about it. And on a Sunday after church, he picked up 31 pounds of totally free and very nutritious.
Where are you going with this, Millard?
I'm just saying that I just want to say that Roadkill seems smarter than it did to me before I watched this video.
Should we start up a Roadkill cafe, bro?
Well, I'm not interested in myself.
All right.
But
Hey, let's take the break here.
when we come back, we've got a great Zen headline. Also out of the animal kingdom, a woman who loves feeding the pigeons in the park takes extra steps to make sure that they love having her as much as she loves being around them. We'll be right back.